What's up everybody, welcome back to Bullshot Darts. So by the time I upload this video, I will be in Las Vegas for the Vegas Open. I'm so excited for this darts tournament. I cannot wait to come back and tell you guys how it went. But this does have me thinking about the only other time I was ever in Vegas, which was for the 2019 North American Championship. And this was a tournament that changed my darts career forever. So I just want to share that stuff with you guys and some fun stories, and also the time that I beat Gerwyn Price. So stick around for that, guys. But first, if you're new and you're looking to get better at darts, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. Drop this video a thumbs up, and also go check out the Darts Improvement playlist down there. And also show your love for darts with pride with some Bullshot apparel. I absolutely love this design. I get compliments everywhere I go when I wear my Bullshot clothes. I love it. So go check out bullshotdarts.com and grab some today. And also a huge thank you to everyone that has already put in an order. I appreciate it a lot, guys. So let's get into this. So why did the North American Championship change my darts career forever? So there are two big things that it really did for me. The first I'll talk about is after that week, I decided to buy new darts, and my new darts is what also, it's like a big part about truly moving forward, because to make a very long story short, and actually I'll talk about this in another video, I threw soft tip darts for my first like 4 or 5 years as a dart player, and I just threw some conversion tips on there. And I was debating getting new darts for a very long time, but I just never did. I thought that a new dart would fix some problems I was having, but I was scared to get a new dart. Like I said, long story short, Las Vegas was my final straw with that. I was like, okay, I am done with these darts. When I get back home, I'm buying my new set of darts, and you know, that's what I'll be throwing. So I went from an 18-gram soft tip dart to my 25-gram Rob Cross Pixels, and that is such a huge part in my, you know, darts journey, because so many things changed when I got these darts. So that was one big thing. And another huge thing was that it just motivated me so much more. When I first started throwing darts, like, yeah, I always had the goals of wanting to be the best and do this and do that, but I never experienced like a really big darts tournament or anything like that. I was living in Denver, so I was throwing a lot of darts in Denver, but it's kind of hard to travel out of Denver, especially I didn't have much money or anything, so I was just kind of like stuck in the Denver darts scene. And I don't say stuck in a bad way, because I absolutely love Denver darts and I love everyone out there, but I wasn't able to get out and experience really anything else. And the North American Championship was my first like really big tournament. And not only was it a big tournament to play in, but it was also one to watch, because there were PDC players over there too for the US Masters. So Gerwyn Price, Gary Anderson, I think Peter Wright was there, Nathan Aspinal. Aspinal ended up winning the whole thing. But that was my first time I'd ever like seen high profile players like that in person. And it's so much different watching it on TV. It almost feels like it's not real. Like, these guys are unbelievable and they're not human. But then you meet them in person and notice that, like, oh, they're human just like everyone else. So something about actually watching someone do it in person is like really motivating. And just watching how the crowd was reacting and being a part of all that, it really sunk in. So it went from goals of just wanting to be the best at all these things, but not really knowing. And in that tournament, I found out what it really meant to be at that level, and I wanted it that much more. So a combination of that and getting my new darts, my darts have changed forever. That's when I got my CDC tour card not long after that. And unfortunately, so that was July, and then everything shut down the following March. So, you know, I was having my biggest momentum ever when I won my CDC tour card, then everything shut down. But with the world opening back up and having such a busy dart summer, like, I'm getting this urge again. Like, it just feels so good to have that motivation again, because I'm not gonna lie, you know, I didn't go out and throw darts for a year, which is crazy to think about now, but I definitely did lose some motivation. I thought for sure I was gonna be throwing a lot at home, but, you know, I just found that to be, I don't know, just the same thing over and over. I wasn't having a lot of fun, but yeah, so when things started opening back up, and this summer, you know, I went to Tampa, Nashville, and had a weekend in Chicago 3 weeks in a row. It was just, it reignited that motivation. So I'm so excited, which is another reason I'm super excited to get out to Vegas, because my last big darts tournament was a CDC event, and that was back in October, which isn't that long ago. But when I was doing the traveling I was doing prior to that, you know, it feels like a very long time. So significant weekend, really changed my darts career moving forward for those two reasons. So let's get into some fun stories about Vegas, guys. Let's see, I got little notes here. Oh yeah, so I got to meet Michael Smith and Gary Anderson, which was really cool because it was in the Mandalay Bay, and you know, the PDC players, they're just like anyone else that's there. They're just hanging out. You know, they're not like these super high profile that have all these private suites and private blackjack dealers or whatever. You know, they're out roaming around among the people. So I remember I was walking around, just had no intention of meeting anyone. I was just trying to find a place to gamble some money. And there's Michael Smith playing craps. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. So I ran back to my dad because he was holding on to my 180 signs. So I ran back real quick. You know, I didn't want to bother him. You know, I'm like really introverted. I have a very hard time like talking to people I don't know, or like if I see someone I want to talk to, I have a very hard time like doing those things. But I was in Vegas, so I had a little liquid encouragement at that time. But this will also play into the story with Gerwyn Price later. So I got him to sign the 180 thing. I didn't want to take up too much of his time, you know, whatever. And I actually met Gary Anderson, like kind of like in the dart hall area. I forgot who he lost to. I think it was Gary Anderson, or I think it was Gerwyn Price actually. But it was just so weird because I just like walked up to him, and like I said, this is darts. This isn't high profile NFL celebrities. It's just a bunch of dart players hanging out. So he's just walking around, and I'm like, hey, hi Gary, and just like strike up conversation with him. And I don't know if he's still dealing with these issues, but he was saying how like he wasn't practicing that much because of an injury, and it was just like completely casual conversation, you know, and it was just like super cool. So I got a picture with him, and then I did meet Gerwyn Price, but like I said, I'll get to that story in a second here. So I got to meet Michael Smith, Gary Anderson, really cool. I got one of my proudest darts achievements, even to this day still. So the North American Championship, moving forward, there's going to be qualifiers all over the country and stuff. There's not going to be any on-site qualifiers, but the way it was, there were 2 days of qualifiers that same week as the North American Championship, and there was 4 of them. And I managed to place in all 4 qualifiers. So I didn't rack up the most amount of points. I think I got top 32 3 times and top 16 once. So it wasn't the greatest. You know, I won my money back, but I mean, how many people can say that they placed in all 4 of the qualifiers? Because every single qualifier, at least half of the people don't place in the event. So I don't know. I never really looked into it, but I just thought that was kind of cool and one of my prouder, I guess, like achievements in darts. And also just one of those things that made me realize that I know that it just boosted my confidence, because it helped me realize like, oh, like I can play darts with these guys. Obviously a lot of them are way better than me, but in my mind I'm thinking, you know, I deserve to be here and play against them. So that was another big thing too. It's a big confidence boost here. And so my next story here is when I played Jeff Smith. So Jeff Smith is probably, I don't want to say the best player I've ever played, but at the moment, like he was the best at the time, if that makes any sense. Because he was the reigning and defending North American champion. You know, he was looking to get his PDC Tour card, because I don't think he had it yet, because I think he got it in 2020. I don't remember exactly, but I remember on the call, they're like, Nick versus Jeff Smith. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm playing Jeff Smith. This is absolutely insane. And I knew that he was the reigning defending North American champion. But when I first saw him, I didn't want him to know that I was like a fanboy. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, I'm playing Jeff Smith. So I walked up to him and I was like, oh, hey. And then very casually, I was just like, hey, you won this thing last year, didn't you? And he was like, yeah, like super humble guy. Like he was definitely one of the nicer people I've ever met. And he was just extremely nice, extremely humble, said some very nice things to me. So yeah, it was just a great experience to play him, and I actually grabbed 2 legs off of him, so I'm actually super excited about that. But one thing that kills me to this day, I will never forget this. Jeff Smith had a 9-darter going. He had the first 6 darts in the triple. Trip, 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 trip. So 6 perfect darts. He goes up for the 9-darter. He just hit 6 triple 20s in a row. But instead of going triple 20 his first dart, he went triple 19. And like I said, I mean, I've seen people do it in the PDC and everything, you know, whatever, you know, maybe go from the bottom of the board, then your last 2 darts will be at the top of the board. But it's like, you hit 6 trip 20s in a row. Like, for me, you know, I'm going to stay there because that's what I'm feeling. And what's actually crazy is I actually still had a couple darts at the double in that leg. So he started with the 6 perfect darts, and I still managed to work my way down and get a couple looks at a double. So, all right, guys, let's get into this Gerwyn Price story. So a lot of you, well, actually, I don't think I could ever beat Gerwyn Price in a game of darts. So did I beat Gerwyn Price? Yes. Did I beat him in a game of darts? Of course not. So like I said, I was walking around the casino. I was actually looking for a poker table to go sit down at, and that's when I ran into Michael Smith. So I'm looking for a poker table to sit down at. I find it. I sit down. You know, I'm just sitting there playing some cards. In walks Gerwyn Price. Now, obviously, not many people there know who he is. You know, he's a dart player from overseas. Not many people know darts at all here, so he just comes in. No big deal at all. Just comes in, sits down 2 seats next to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, Gerwyn Price, my favorite darts player, is sitting 2 spots away from me, and I'm playing poker with him. Like, this is, like, still talking about it is just, like, super crazy. So he sits down, and, you know, we're just playing poker. And a couple younger people come up. There's, like, a group of 3 or 4 of them. They were like standing next to the poker table, and they're I could see them. They're all like pointing at Gerwyn Price, like, oh my gosh, like, it's Gerwyn Price, blah blah blah. So they're like, go talk to him, go talk to him. Like, no, you go talk to him. So eventually they came up, they got some pictures. He might have did an autograph or whatever. And now that caught the people's attention at the poker table. They're kind of like, what? Like, who is this guy? No one says anything. We just keep playing cards. And I asked him, I was like, do you get that a lot at home? Because, I mean, like I said, the best, most popular American darts player isn't going to get recognized too much out here. But overseas, you know, darts is so big. So I assume that when they go out at home, that they do have a lot of people approaching them. So I was just like, do you get a lot of that at home? And he was kind of like, yeah. And that's one thing I love about Gerwyn Price is that, you know, a lot of people judge him because of his attitude, or I shouldn't say his attitude, but the way he acts on stage. But the thing is, like, he's a very competitive person. Like, the guy played rugby. Rugby is not some, you know, low testosterone sport. Like, you know, you get pumped up when you play that. So he has a very competitive and, like, aggressive competitive mindset, I guess you could say. So I absolutely love watching him darts, but I know a lot of people knock him for that. But the little bit of time that I like spent with him at the poker table, extremely humble. Because like I said, like, he was like, yeah, like, you know, just very humble, quiet, very quiet actually. Doesn't like talking much. Well, like I said, from the little bit that we played cards together. So me asking him that kind of triggered some conversation, and people were like, oh, like, who are you? Blah, blah, blah. And once again, he was just like, oh yeah, I play darts, and not saying much. He wasn't number 1 at the time, but he was, you know, obviously working his way up. And people were asking him, and he was just like, oh yeah, I play darts. And he was just like downplaying it big time. So I'm just like, you know what? He won't say this, but he is one of the best dart players in the world. So now everyone's just kind of like, wait, what? Like, darts is even a thing? So it struck up oh, this video is getting really long. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. I'm just really excited to go to Vegas, and I've never told this Vegas story. I'm surprised. So yeah, so now we're talking about darts and stuff, and people are asking him, And then, you know, me and him started talking. He was asking me if I qualified for the North American Championship and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, like, not quite there yet. So yeah, we're sitting at the poker table and I beat him in poker. So I will take that forever and always say that I beat Gerwyn Price in poker. And I hope one day to be able to like actually meet him in person, and I would love to play against him. I mean, obviously, like pretty much anyone overseas, I would love to do that. But I just love Gerwyn Price. He's my favorite darts player. Sitting down playing poker with him was just a completely surreal experience. Was really cool. And I did manage to beat him in some hands. So it was just an awesome weekend in Vegas. I guess that's pretty much it. That's it. I beat Gerwyn Price in poker, not darts. So yeah, I guess that's it, guys. I'll get one more throw in here. Sorry that this video is so long. Oh my gosh, we're at like 16 minutes. This next throw is going to determine how well I throw this weekend. Why did I just put that pressure on myself? All right, 49. That's what I'm looking at this weekend. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, Darts Improvement playlist. Check out the other Bullshot videos. The more Bullshot Darts you watch, the more 180s you'll hit. That is a scientific fact. So go check out some video, guys, and pick up some Bullshot apparel. Not only is it awesome darts apparel, but also when you wear Bullshot, your average will go up. So go grab some, bullshotdarts.com. Hopefully Vegas goes well. I got some good stories for you guys when I come back. I'll see you all in the next one when I get home, and shoot well.